Hi everybody, this is Nilhan Uzman. I'm a sports pharmacist from Turkey.
And this is Dr. Jessica Beal-Stahl. I'm a sports pharmacist here in the United States.
Welcome, Jessica, to the Performance Prescription Lab.
Both of us here are sports pharmacists, and we're super passionate about sports, health, and well-being. And we wanted to take a moment to introduce ourselves and give you a little background as to our passions into sports and our background in sports, and let you know a little bit more about us before we dive into some of our very interesting podcasts in future episodes.
Perfect. Let's start. Shoot the question.
All righty. Explain sports pharmacy kind of in your own words for those that aren't familiar with sports pharmacy, and give those listening a little insight into your journey as working as a sports pharmacist with athletes.
Sports pharmacy, in my own words. I think in many countries, pharmacists are the closest healthcare professionals to the society. So, in summary, sports pharmacists, are the closest healthcare professionals to the athletes. So that's how I see sports pharmacy. But if I want to expand it a little bit more, sports pharmacy is a specialty area. It's an emerging specialty area in pharmacy, where pharmacists apply their medicine's expertise into the context of health, performance, and well-being of athletes. Of course, it's about preventative health and supporting those athletes who are also receiving any type of treatment for health and performance related issues. And at the same time, one of our specialty areas, sports pharmacists, is protecting clean sports. So basically the anti-doping measures. So supporting athletes before they get sick, or we increase their potential, performance potential. We support their treatments and we protect clean sports. So that's what sports pharmacy to me.
I'll say I definitely agree with you on all those parts of sports pharmacy. I think it's a emerging area that most people don't realize the benefits of the access to pharmacists, our knowledge, and the impacts we can have on their performance, whether they're amateurs or professional athletes. So I love the way you described sports pharmacy. So maybe now a
Mm,
little insight into your journey as a sports
yeah,
pharmacist.
sure. I'm one of the persons who started her physical activity or sports career as an amateur a little bit later in life, and becoming more physically active and trying different sports have brought a lot of good things to my life: health, good community, determination, enthusiasm. So those were amongst things that made me really passionate about sports. And as I started to try different sports, I realized I have some needs as a person, as an amateur athlete, for my health and performance. So I started to do a bit of research, like supplements I need to use, the medicines that I'm using chronically. So what's the impact on my health, etc. So I discovered sports pharmacy as an emerging area in Turkey. Of course, we have sports pharmacy starting from a little bit before 2010, 15, have great role models in the area, but there was a time that I explored the area, like last year. And I started taking a certificate course because I thought, okay, I'm going to advise myself and athletes I have around me a little bit more evidence-based. And when I stepped into the certification program, I understand it's like a huge ocean to me. And I got so excited because it was something I need to learn. I found it quite interesting how sports acts differently on our physiology, on our body, the mindset of athletes, the competitions. So everything was quite new to me, and merging a passion with my profession. So then I started to make sports pharmacy as the primary focus of my career. And then I started to take a master's program, which started earlier this year, in 2023. So I'm a sports pharmacy in training right now, and I'm learning from role models like yourself and many others. And now I think I'm in the period of constant learning and exploration And I am lucky that as an amateur athlete myself, I have athletes around me whom I can learn from, explore different sports, and also consult to them in the areas according to the scope of my knowledge. Of course, the fun part is, I work with athletes, but also other members of the athlete health team from sports medicine specialists, physicians, psychologists, sports psychologists, or performance nutrition specialists, physiotherapists. So it's a constant learning journey for me, and I'm looking forward to really become part of a wider team as a sports pharmacist. So it's just the beginning phases of my journey, and I'm really glad that I have you on my side, Jess.
I am so thankful we met and have connected over sports pharmacy, over sports, over so much in life. It's funny living completely across the world from each other,
Yeah.
having never met in person, and yet having such a good friendship. Super thankful for social media for bringing us together in summer. But I mean, I love your journey and that um, you weren't you weren't afraid as being an older adult to explore and be vulnerable to new aspects that of being a new athlete, of your passion for wind sports and
Yeah.
all the different things you've done. You maybe didn't do it when you were a kid with like your traditional tennis, which I knew you played, but now you're taking up sailing and kite surfing, and kind of it's a little more scary as an adult to go out there and do that. And, you're a little less resilient too, as when you were 20 when you fell. Now you're like, ooh, I hurt for a day. So it's super cool how you're tying your passion as, your knowledge of us as being a pharmacist and supplements to helping not only yourself, but those around you be better at sport and life, by just kind of optimizing everything. I think it's super cool, your journey.
Thanks a lot for the encouragement. I mean, I think you're super cool too, but I want our listeners to know how cool you are. So I'm gonna ask you the same questions. What
Um,
about what about sports pharmacy for you? You've been practicing it for quite some time, so maybe you're gonna give
Definitely.
different perspectives and your journey because you're a weightlifter, you're competing, you're an athlete yourself, and just merging your own journey with sports as a sports pharmacist. How do you describe that?
Yeah, so I think you summarized sports pharmacy really well. The impacts a pharmacist can make in different aspects of an being a member of an athlete's team. I mean, I know I work in a community pharmacy, and I'll have athletes come in often on weekends or after training sessions and ask for anti-inflammatories or helping them sleep better, or even like cuts and scrapes. And those are some of the easy questions. And then there's more of like how, diving into, like you said, anti-doping or supplement recommendations and making sure that they aren't going to test positive if they're a drug tested athlete.
Hmm.
I mean, there's education in, I find like as diverse as athletes are, I feel the impacts, the area of sports pharmacy is equal like diverse, and it's constantly changing. There's more and more personalization. So we can work with athletes by using like pharmacogenomics and nutrigenomics because we're very versed as pharmacists in genetics and understanding how the body processes things and nuances. And we can help better customize whether that be nutrition plans or training plans or medications to that specific athlete. I mean, I feel like pharmacists are a huge addition to an athlete's support team, along with, like you said, physical therapists and physicians and massage therapists and chiropractors and all that. Many people miss out on I guess, overlooking the benefit of having a pharmacist on their team. So, and like you said, clean sport is super big, making sure that we keep the purity of sport alive.
Hmm.
So I do agree with basically your description of sports pharmacy, and just kind of echo that there is a lot of diversity in the way a sports pharmacist can practice and who you can work with. And you're more endurance and wind sports. I do a lot more. I'd say power and strength sports just because of our backgrounds, but we can converse and talk on different cases and help each other understand and grow. So I think athletes can lean to different sports pharmacists also for their knowledge base. But a little bit into my journey as a sports pharmacist, I would say I started working as a sports pharmacist before I even knew the field existed. I was an athlete my whole life. I played volleyball, soccer, and softball in high school, Division I volleyball, and during undergrad, I was really big into like bioorganic and organic chemistry and why was these chemicals working in the body. At the same time, I was also going through a kind of my own struggle as having an eating disorder and being given antidepressants and birth control pills and told to get back on the court without the support of anybody or explaining what could happen from side effects or anything like that. I was just told get back out on the court. So navigating that journey and my curiosity as to why the human body works, I think is kind of what led me into pharmacy. And eventually, I think sports pharmacy, mainly because I was involved in like I said, Division I volleyball. Then I got into CrossFit and eventually settled probably 8 years ago doing competitive Olympic weightlifting, which is a drug tested sport
Mhm.
by USADA and WADA. And so I was starting to get a lot of questions from teammates, competitors as to what can they do to help with their recovery? How can they improve their strength? What is legal? Like, are they going to can they take a decongestant if they're sick before a competition? Simple questions like that that some people don't know the answers to, that could jeopardize their career. So I started getting a lot of those questions and really just started enjoying and researching and learning. And I think one day I finally figured out that there's a actual specialty called sports pharmacy, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. When I started looking it up, and I was like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. So I started a consulting business and kind of consult for athletes and teams and organizations for their needs as a sports pharmacist.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
think in our both of our case, it started with something of
So,
our own needs, but
yep,
also
yep.
because we were involved in sports, we were able to observe other people needs the same thing without even knowing that they don't know that this exists. So this gives us a lot of, I think, satisfaction from my
Yeah.
perspective. I'm sure you feel the same. To be
I
able to
definitely,
touch people's needs. So, sorry, to be able
yeah, no,
to
I
go ahead.
No, you're good. I would say I definitely feel the same way. I think both of us have the passion. I think you don't get into pharmacy if you don't want to help others, and being able to tie helping others with athletes, and being a part of a team and a community, I think just fulfills both of us in ways that you never could have thought when we first started being a pharmacist. But I do think that the underlying thing is helping others to be the best version of themselves in some way, whether that's a competitor or just healthy lifestyles.
Perfect. I completely agree. It's just, every athlete is unique and everybody has their unique needs. So
Yeah.
we are able to, with our knowledge and education and experience, we are able to help different types of athletes, whatever they need. Of course, everybody has their specialty.
Yeah.
So we have so much to talk about, and we both love talking. So I'm gonna keep this energy for our episodes, but maybe we can finish up with a hot seat question,
Ooh, let's do that.
and then close the first episode, so we get
Perfect.
also our audience a little bit excited. My
Yeah.
question for you is your favorite quote, motto that you live by. What is that?
So I would say the one that's been on my bulletin board the longest, and I've needed it more and more recently, would be the one that says, "Don't doubt yourself. There's enough people that are inspired by what you can't see and the potential within you." And so I keep that with me a lot because sometimes I doubt that I'm able to do something that I shouldn't, or I question taking a step or a leap of faith on something. And I just kind of keep that around, knowing that there's a lot of people who see what I can't see in myself. And so to kind of, have a little more trust in myself and take that leap is kind of one that I keep pretty close to me pretty often. How about you? Is there one that, it sits with you right now in life, or is there one that when you were a kid you would say to yourself?
There was, I wanna share two because you
Okay.
asked. There is one that I live by right now, but I'll start with the previous one. When I was in university, I think around those ages, I was really into exploring different cultures and trying different things. That's one of the reasons why I don't live. I haven't been living where I was born for 7 years, I guess. Been living in different countries, I think, since 2016. And that mindset came from one of the quotes in a postcard that I found when I was traveling in Amsterdam. And it says, eat the, life is short, eat the dessert, sorry, eat the dessert first. So that's why I was prioritizing a little bit more excitement in my life. Of course, trying to be balanced because I mean, my academic career is also as important. But that
Yeah.
gave me a lot of bravery to explore different things. That doesn't work anymore because I gain weight if I prioritize dessert. So I'm a little bit more balanced now. That's why it's not my quote anymore, but it was something I lived by for a few years, and that postcard is still with me. I still keep it.
I
And
love it.
then right now, I think it's like this is an anonymous quote, but it may be coming from some famous philosopher. I'm not sure, but there was someone who said to me, "Is sometimes people say, oh, you're so lucky,' but success in life." The quote was, "Success in life it comes from marriage of luck and preparation." So to me, this is like how I live my life. I try to be prepared when the opportunity arrives. So when the luck comes, I'm ready for it. It's for anything. It's like for a friendship, it's for work, it's for, I think, health. So being prepared, anticipating things, it comes from, of course, having some goals in life. But to me, I like to be prepared so I can be lucky when it
I
comes.
love
So that's,
that.
yeah, that's a quote I live by, and let's see what's going to be the quote in the next few years. May change.
Yeah, I feel like that code is really something for most athletes. Like you can be prepared as you can
Yeah.
be fully prepared for a competition, and sometimes it comes down to luck and situations. And you, like you said, you can be prepared for when that moment comes, and whether that make or break a goal or a hit
Mhm.
or something or a big play. Some of it, sometimes I feel like it just comes down to luck also.
I agree, of course. It's not works 100%.
Yeah,
But yeah, if
you
you're
got to
ready
be
for it,
prepared.
if you're an athlete or just a regular person in life, I think this worked for me quite a lot. So that's my quote that I live by at the moment.
I like that. I love that. So I think we should sum this up and start. We'll give people a little insight into our first episode that'll be coming out
Yep.
first on caffeine. So we'll dive into some of those aspects. So I guess we'll end with whether you're a professional athlete, if you're seeking an extra edge, or an amateur competitor aiming to reach new heights, or simply someone interested in the fascinating intersection of health and sports. I hope you find this is your go-to show and you enjoy us as your host. And we look forward to you joining us on future episodes.